Beyond the Buckles. Real rodeo topics for cowboys and cowgirls.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Young Cattle Company. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Buckles. On this one, as always, we got the full gang today. We got Blake, we got Briar, Nathan, and Blaine over there. And today we are talking about the teams, PBR teams. The good, the bad, the ugly. Guys, we've had Cheyenne, we've had Kansas City, Anaheim now. What's y'all's thoughts on it so far? Good or bad?
I think it's good so far. I mean, it is what it is. I think there's been some bad calls, like some rerides that are very questionable.
It's almost like they're trying to keep them close, keep the games close by utilizing rerides where really there shouldn't be.
Yeah, let's start in Cheyenne. So Colton Hevlow, Magic Potion. Bull never even touched anything, never even come close to falling down. Reride.
Yeah.
Why? Why was there a reride?
Yeah, that was a black bull, right? That squatted down.
Daylan Swearingen got on him and bucked him off when he won the world in the short round. Yeah. And then the look off, everyone looking off.
Yeah, the look off already showed up
in all three events.
Yeah, at all three of them.
Every single one.
Yeah.
And then Nashville was up against someone else, and they wound up tying. Why? Why is there a tie? You got reride bulls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ties. I don't like the ties in it.
Yeah, I don't like that either. That's like in baseball or basketball.
They go to extra innings or outs or
you go into overtime, and if you prove a winner, there's nobody ties.
Or sudden death.
That's boring. Nobody wants to see a tie. I mean, if I was a rider, I want to win.
Ride off in there.
Yeah. Even if you bring the reride bulls back and then pick one of your guys to get on, let's have a ride off, and they don't ride again. Let's bring another reride bull in and keep going till we define a winner. I mean, this is. Yes. I hate tying.
I think each team has two rerides back there, and I mean,
use them.
You can go back there and use them, and I'm sure there's extra bulls somewhere. I mean, I think there's plenty of bulls there.
Yeah,
I mean, they do the extra outs at the
end of the game. I'm
for
talking
who wins
about in the regular games,
that event,
right?
You know, but yeah, the individual games, I don't think there should be ties there either.
No, it's.
I mean, you should have a winner and a loser, but if they tie, they both lose. That's dumb.
Yeah,
but if they all buck off, I mean,
or
should be.
If you all buck off, and you're a loser.
I mean, how much more can we dumb the bulls down, really?
Yeah, see. Yeah. There would have to be a stipulation in that where it would be the guy if they rode bulls and tied, then you have the ride off. But if everyone bucked off, ride off.
Everybody loses.
At least have to ride one bull.
Yeah, at least one bull.
Yeah.
And then if everybody bucks off, screw it. I mean, you didn't come and do your job. Yeah. So go home.
Exactly.
I mean,
but what happens in a football game when it's 0-0 after the fourth quarter? You go into overtime.
They do go into overtime.
You do go into overtime.
So.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But they could do
that's
it
a good point.
like baseball does it. They could do it like baseball does it, and you don't stop playing until you got a winner.
Yeah.
On that side, do you think it's time of production? Like, keep it moving? Because they got so many games?
Yeah,
that's a good point, and that comes up with some of the TV side of things.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they're allotted so much time during that deal. I mean, I think they could have went and did a deal with the Cowboy Channel or RFD, and they could have had all the time they wanted in the world. But now you don't know if they're on Pluto or CBS or
don't know where the hell they're
VIX or who the hell ever, and you don't know what time. And what day. Or I mean, it may be 8:00 at night, might be 4:00 in the afternoon, might be midnight.
Yeah.
And you don't know what channel, and then Pluto is, by golly, the worst damn network out there. I have no idea what in the hell they're thinking. They was showing, in Anaheim, they was showing shots from the roof down there with no sound, no nothing. Do you not realize that you're on air?
Take one, two.
Yeah, I mean, what are we doing
Not
here?
professional at all, honestly.
It's not professional at all.
I mean,
I think you got to have some kind of rhyme or rhythm.
I think Pluto's
to
just the host, though. I don't think they're actually out there filming. I think it's just a host, just like Netflix. Netflix isn't out there
It
you
may
know,
be. I don't
I'm
know.
not
I'm
sure.
not that. I'm not that
But-
smart. But so Ride Pass needs to get their head out of their ass.
What happened to Ride
figure
Pass?
something out.
What happened to
I
Ride
think
Pass? 'Cause
Pluto
pretty sure.
bought 'em.
is
Yeah, I
Pluto
was
like
fixed to
that's
say
part
that.
of them? Because I
Yeah.
used to have the Ride Pass app,
So did
and
I,
now
The Ride Pass
you
app
can't
is
watch
gone.
live. It's gone.
It's
Did-
done.
did-
You
is
can't
that
even
what-
get in on Ride Pass.
No. I just
think
checked it.
They went to Pluto or they bought Pluto.
They
bought
had
them.
to have.
I think that's what happened. And then they just closed it out.
Heck, I've missed a lot of the events because I like to DVR them because I'm always out doing stuff.
You don't know when it's coming
rodeo,
on or when
and
it's coming
I've
on.
missed a whole bunch of. I missed
Yeah.
the whole Anaheim series. I went back on my phone to look. It ain't on there. I missed it.
And then you can't go back on Pluto and go back and
Nope.
watch it.
No. You gotta watch it
miss
live.
if they
Yeah,
go
you
back,
have
you
to
know.
watch it live.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we got it through Hulu, CBS Sports Network. We got it through Hulu there, and only half the time
If you
can
don't watch
record
it
them
live,
things.
if you don't watch it live, you're not able to finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blake, and
'Cause
you
the
said
time
there
You
was-
miss 5 minutes of it.
You said
Yeah.
there was another
The
channel that
last
they have
ride,
now?
the
Yeah,
most
it's like,
meaningful ride of the whole damn event. You missed.
VIX.
Yeah.
The VIX. I don't even know what that is. What VIX?
Never- I've never
VIX?
heard of
or-
VIX.
It's on their
Never.
website. I have no idea.
So I
what
think
that
I
is.
think the PBR ought to really get their head out of their ass and figure something out on this television schedule, because if
Yeah.
they don't have some kind of rhyme or rhythm, I think they're losing a lot of people because they just don't know when it's coming on.
Yeah.
If it was set like
Like
every
it used
Friday
to.
and Saturday night, man,
Yeah.
this is coming on, or every Saturday and Sunday,
Right.
it's coming. Hell, make it Monday. If
Right.
people know it's coming on that day,
They'll
they're
watch
gonna
it.
tune
Well, that's
in.
how-
Yeah,
that's how
they're
it
gonna
used-
tune in.
That's how it used to be back
Well-
when I was a kid. It was
Oh yeah, TNN back now.
our verses,
Land days, you bet.
and Sunday was always championship Sunday.
Absolutely.
And they always had around usually Friday and Saturday.
Yep, Friday. It was always Friday and Saturday, and then they would come on and they would show highlights of round one,
Yep.
most all of round two, and then all of the short round.
Yep.
And that's the roots, man.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
built to PBR to what
As a
it is
kid,
today.
you know, sitting down
Yeah.
waiting
And that
for
was-
it.
time.
Right.
You cannot get away from a rider, a bull rider, and a bull. You can't.
Nope.
You can't get. That's
No.
what that's their selling point. But they've got away from that, I think, and they have got plumb off into let's do this Yeti thing over here with.
Bucket
How many
selling
times
the-
do they
the
show
monster.
the Del Brisby deal with Derek Cobaba and Chase Outlaw? It's just
on Pluto?
over.
It's
I
just
mean,
the same
can
guys
we- can
over
we
and
not-
over again.
Can we
It's
not
gotten
change
annoying.
that?
It's gotten very annoying.
I
Make
know
some
the
new
winner. I
content.
know who wins.
Yeah.
You know, and I know Chase loses a bell. 500
Derek
yards down the
Cobaba kicked
road.
his bucket.
Derek
Yeah.
Cobaba kicked his bucket. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Same old
we get
stuff.
it, right? It's old. It's time to get into some new stuff. And then the Monster Energy deal where they go in and have the whatever.
talk in the booth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And man,
Same
that's just,
thing every year.
I mean, I get a little bit of it, right?
Yeah.
But you don't see that in the NFL. You don't
No.
see that in Major
Well,
League Baseball.
They
There's
do
a
it, but
pre-game for that, a pre-show for that, and a post-show for all that.
Yep.
Yes.
And the game
In
is just a
between them
game.
2 points, it is nothing but the game.
Well, there's a halftime show.
Well, I get that. All right, smart ass. Yes, there is a halftime, but they
Who
talk
invited
about.
this
Do
guy?
they not talk about the game?
Yes, they
during
talk
halftime?
about the game. That's
They
it.
don't bring in this other.
Like commercial type.
Unless
Hollywood
it's,
shit.
unless
And
it's the Super Bowl.
And
Yeah.
the game isn't still going on.
Yeah.
Like they're throwing this
Right.
stuff in when
Yeah.
bulls are
They're in
bucking,
the like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
you know.
When they're not wanting to show
hey,
the
we're
guys
gonna
they don't
cut
like.
over here to Del Brisby and Chase Outlaw and Derek Cobaba driving
For the fourth time.
Can-Ams around the.
Yeah.
For the fourth or fifth time.
Yeah.
So what did you think about the bull power even from last year going into this year? Like, what do you guys see a difference, or
I
what do
think,
you
it's,
guys?
I think it's gotten better. I think
Yeah, I do
I
too.
think that I think they
There's
upgraded
not
the
a-
bull power a little bit.
Yep.
Last year I think it was really dumbed down, but I think
I think
last
it
year
was-
I think last year we really seen more rides.
Oh,
Yeah,
I agree.
And I was going to look.
I
I was
agree.
really going to look. I was going to look this up.
So,
I wanted to
I got-
hold on. Just stop for a second. I really wanted to look this up. As I wanted to look at the ride percentage of all these events, being they're one dimensional.
Right.
I'm going to say, and I'm just going to guess, they're probably as a whole the 40 guys are. How many rides do you see during them 4 games? Maybe 10.
Maybe.
Maybe.
10.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Unless you got one like they had in Anaheim where it's just back and forth.
Well, there was a couple good games there in Anaheim that went back to back. That was a really good show, I thought. But they're not riding. I mean, they're not even really riding 10-12%.
No.
No.
You know,
Well,
Yeah, if
to
that.
going into Anaheim, they showed
but the coaches are picking them.
They showed how many bulls Oklahoma Freedom rode, and I think it was like 8 of 23 or something like that.
Yeah, and the coaches are picking them, and they're all
Freedom,
going into their hand.
Yeah, and Oklahoma Freedom's like 4th or 3rd or something.
Hey, let me tell you something. If you're going to be one-dimensional, you better be damn good, solid one-dimensional and ride at least 80% of your bulls going into your hand.
But anymore, it's getting where they can't even ride them into their hand.
No, I watched it, and I was telling Blaine yesterday, we was talking about it, and it was just like every one of them, they knew they was going right or going into their hand, and it's
Then
like, I know they're going, and they just dive over in there.
Yeah.
How many times did we see a guy in Kansas City and in Anaheim just fall off in there?
I probably couldn't count with my hands and toes.
Probably. You're right.
I probably couldn't.
Here, you want to borrow some of my toes? Do we keep counting here?
What about the look-offs? I mean,
Boy,
man, I'll tell you what. Between the look-offs, man, and there was, I've got it on my notes here, and I probably should have worn my glasses because I'm getting old and I'm about half-ass blind.
You need me to read it for you, Grandpa?
Yeah. Luke Parkinson, man, in Anaheim. What the hell are you doing? Game 1 versus the Thunder. Looks out and steps off.
on his feet.
Where's the second? There was. I'm not even sure there was a first effort.
No.
Because back in my day, we was like, hey, man, make sure you give it that second and that third effort. You hustle all the way. You know, you don't quit till your head hits the ground. These guys are quitting at the bottom of their damn nod.
Cody Lostro told Derek Kobaba that, and I was thinking he might need a third and a fourth.
Yeah. Well, we all know Derek Kobaba would be the 7-second guy.
Yes.
I mean, if they ever change that 8-second rule,
The 7.
which I wish they'd have changed it back in my day because I'd have been really great because I rode a lot of them 7 seconds and just didn't make 8. But if they ever do change it to 7, Derek Kobaba's your guy, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he can ride the hell out of anything for 7 seconds and then his dress blows up and he's gone. You know, I don't get it. You know,
I just think the bull power. What's that? Is that scaring the guys a little bit? Is that why they're all looking off this?
Why are you in the
You're
PBR?
in the PBR.
Why are you in the
This
PBR?
is the best of the best,
Right.
supposedly because this is teams and the coaches pick. And
But why the heck?
look, Bruno Cavallari, he looked out, man.
Yeah.
Whatever his last, I can't pronounce his last name. I don't have a.
I'm not even going to attempt
Marcus,
I didn't make
Marcus Mast. Marcus Mast.
Yeah, he's
when they
the
was
star.
when they was in the big game against Austin, they was in the middle of it, and he looks out, gets off.
Yeah, bull turns back right
gets
there.
in
and
one
just,
little bitty bind.
Just a tick. I mean, just a hair behind where that second and third effort would have
Helped him
probably
win
clinched the game for him, and he steps off. But he's the big home run hitter.
Yeah, he's the best one.
And I question that whole thing with Marcus Mast. Is he really?
No.
Should he really be the anchor of that team?
No.
Well, wasn't he like?
I mean, because if he's actually the anchor of that team,
boy,
what's that tell you about how good that team is?
I'm sorry,
Let's talk about Marcus for a minute. And I have no ill will towards the man. I don't know that I've ever met him before. I think I've met his brother or his cousin or something a time or two. But where did he come from? I know way back in the day that
open rodeos. I think
he rode some pretty good ones, but he was pretty streaky and this and that. And he comes in last year and he wins 3rd or 4th in the MVP. 5th, maybe.
Yeah, I think
Last year.
4th.
he's in the top 5. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he did fair, but do you think that can he anchor that team?
no. That's why when he went from the team season to the regular season, he only rode 20% of his bulls instead of 50%.
Well, there's not a whole lot of guys that can ride 50% up there on the UTB series, but
Especially the guys that's been going on.
you
The
go
team.
looking
I
at-
think it was
you go
lower than
looking at
20%.
the riding percentages nowadays. It's ridiculous, man. You've got 20 guys. I mean, your top 20 guys, say 10 through 20, they're riding only 20%. Some of them, maybe even if they place right, at 15%. You know, it's ridiculous. But now you've got your top 5 guys, top 3 to 5 or whatever. They're riding in that 30 to 40 to 50.
And then Joe Say like 60.
Yeah, and then
60,
Jose's on a whole
70.
nother level up there, 60, 70%.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, what about some of these re-rides we've been seeing?
There was
I
I
mean,
mean,
about
I got
over
some
there.
here in Kansas City, and we're talking about riding percentages. How about the MVP, right? The MVP race. That is won
Joe
by.
Say's gonna win it again.
That is one.
bet he is.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
I
hands
understand.
down.
But just hold with me. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole here a little bit.
All right.
So the MVP race, it's won by what? How many rides?
Yeah.
Right? Your total score or however many points you are on the bulls or whatever it is.
Yes.
So it was Kansas City versus Nashville. Silvano's on. And this is at Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
Silvano slaps his bull. Hey, Nashville throws the flag, or Kansas City throws the flag and says, hey, that he slapped him. Now, the game was pretty close. I think Kansas City had 2 rides and Nashville had 1. And Silvano was the closer. And rightfully so, Kansas City threw the flag, I think. Well, the replay showed at like 6-7 seconds, Silvano slapping the bull. Come down behind the bull, kind of slapped him back here by the flank a little bit with his hand. And it was clear to me on TV. Did y'all see that?
Yes, I saw.
It was pretty clear.
I saw
I saw his hand bounce off his body.
But that's Silvano's riding
Doesn't
style.
matter. Doesn't
I
matter.
know.
Doesn't
I know.
matter.
I
Rules
think
are
it should
rules.
be
I
the
know
way
your
it used to
opinion
be
on
back
that.
in the day, where
But anyway, anyhow, they give him a score.
Yeah.
Now,
it didn't affect the game.
They, while they was replaying it, the judges went ahead and scored the ride, and then when it come back, I think they was like 2 points short of beating Kansas City.
Yeah, it did
But
affect.
so they looked at it as like, oh well, it didn't affect the game. We'll give him a score just so it
Just
looks
for the
good
hell of
on
it,
paper. So them 2 games look like they
We
was
got
really
another
close.
ride in.
Yeah. Yeah, we got another ride in. We can up them percentages.
Yeah.
Lord knows they need the help.
Yeah.
And they were, that close like that.
It ain't no
to
different
keep it
than-
close. But that's not right. That's going to affect the MVP race
ain't-
if Silvano
Yes, it
gets
is.
hot and he's a
Yeah.
3-time world champ. That 86 or whatever he was could put him over the top and beat somebody.
This ain't
when he
no
shouldn't have been
different
there.
than
A rule-
Jeremy saying that they bumped the scores up to keep the games tight.
Oh, I see that. I mean,
Yeah.
and I
they
think
do.
they use the re-rides to keep them.
But
just right there.
a rule's a rule, though.
Yeah,
You can't slap the bull.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I think that's
black and white.
well,
mean,
I don't
be
know
one
if
of the
that's rule
best
number 1 or
rules.
rule number 2. The rule number 1 would be you got to make 8 seconds, and
seconds.
somebody needs to tell Derek Kobaba this.
now
yeah.
what about the re-ride Kansas City got in Anaheim?
That
The
was
guy
stupid.
wasn't even on. Only
No.
thing was touching that bull was his hand in the rope. And
Was
that's
that the
'cause he
paint?
Yeah.
Yeah, paint of Cooper and Skaggs.
Well, they do say if in like on the 8 seconds, and I disagree. I agree with you on this. It shouldn't have been a re-ride, but
And
No,
the
it
bull
shouldn't
never stumbled. It was a buck in
so
motion.
at 8 seconds, if he's off a bull and he's got his hand in his rope, and nothing else is touching but his hand on the rope, he gets a score, right?
Yeah.
So
I
they're
think
saying.
that's-
So
I don't think it should
what
be that
they're
way.
saying is he's technically still riding.
No, he's not.
He
So
was
when
off that bull before that bull
Was his hand touching the rope? You just
Yeah.
said it was
Yeah.
touching the rope. So technically, the bull fell while he was riding. Do I think that's a re-ride? Hell
No.
no.
But
His
did you-
head was like 2 inches from hitting the dirt before the bull, and I don't even
Yeah.
think the bull went down. I think
No,
the
it was
bull-
just a-
the
he
bull
went- he
didn't
got
stumble.
real
The bull
low.
just squatted and
and just had
kind of explode.
just a weird
yeah.
jump.
Was that bankroll? Heath?
Twisted steel. I
Twisted
think.
Steel of Heath
Yeah.
Scruggs. Yeah, that's a good bull. I like
I do
that
too.
bull. He's brought some good ones out there, man.
Yeah, he did.
How about Kidnapper going left?
Kidnapper. I knew.
Well,
Keyshawn
Keyshawn
was not
Whitehorse
gonna-
dive over there like a
I
retard.
knew he wasn't
Yeah.
gonna make the whistle there.
I mean, come on, man.
I mean, yeah, I was pretty sure Keyshawn was shaking when he got on him. I mean,
I don't know how he rode it
who
the first
rightfully
time.
wouldn't. Kidnapper is the
We're talking about the only guy that looked off, got off.
prototype for
Yeah.
a bucking bull with the devil horns and
Yep.
the big hump, and that sucker is mean too.
Yeah.
And got a little drop and bring you. He'll put you up there as a hood ornament if you ain't careful.
Yeah.
That's one thing I like. The one that I can think of is Red Demon at Cheyenne. Boy, that hurt for Buck, didn't he?
He,
he did.
That's a buck.
he kicked that Brazilian right in the ass
Yeah.
and throwed him over the outside.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. Here's your partner.
Little
Yeah.
bucks, and I like seeing that. Like I feel like that. I know, like
And then Sykes turned around and rode him in Cheyenne for 91 or 2.
yeah,
Yeah, he
Rodeo.
did.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
He
that was
did,
bull right
and
there.
I don't think that bull had the same trip
I'll have
as
to
he
watch
did
that later.
with the Brazilian. I don't think he fired as hard. Which
Well, did he go left with Sage and he was
think he
headed
went
right?
Yeah,
he was
that's
headed
right.
with
That's
the
right.
Brazilian.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
never
he-
know where that bull's going.
Wherever he's going, he's bucking. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
That's a bull right there that I think could be in contention for Bull of the Year this year.
Personally,
Yeah.
I don't think he will be because he's not rider friendly.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was going to say do they do enough politics on their side to get that bull in the running for it?
Who is that? Universal Pro Rodeos?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think's got him. But
What,
do they do enough to?
Yeah, I don't know if they go hard enough all year coast to coast like Jeremy was saying.
All it takes is 8 outs, man.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 8 outs.
Yeah.
How many times do you see?
I mean, let's call a spade a spade.
How many
If
times do you
that's
see
the rules,
riding
you live by
solo?
the rules and
Yeah,
you die by
only-
the rules.
Right.
Well,
What?
that bull gets 8 outs.
Maybe
Yeah.
9 times.
Yeah,
He's in
maybe.
for
The
contention.
entire
Should be in
team
the
season
Yeah.
maybe 9.
or the UTB season.
What are y'all talking about? Because we had 2 different conversations going
Riding
on here at
solo
one
and
time.
he's not out
Yeah.
very much, just enough to
How
make
many
the
times
finals.
riding solos out in the team season and the UTB season for the bull of the
I
year?
don't know. But he goes to some pro rodeos too, because he'll go to the NFR this year too.
Yeah.
That's pro rodeos. Pro rodeos different PBR.
Oh, I know, but that might be why they limit his outs on
Probably, yes.
on the
Trying to
UTB
make
and the
both.
team
Yeah.
series. You know,
True.
so I mean, we don't want to buck their legs off.
And then another bad bucking son of a gun, Domino.
Yeah, that one there. I don't honestly believe that that one's going to be up for bull of the year either. Just
'Cause
because
he's not rider
he's
friendly.
absolutely not rider friendly, but
No.
he's so unpredictable, and he's also kind of sometimes hard to get out of there on, get clean. I mean, you can always get to your nod on him, but getting from the chute to the first jump is you usually hitting something, or there's no telling.
What I want to
Yeah.
know is where did the bull of the years go? Because it used to be like you had Promised Land, you had Moody Blues, you had what was the black spotted bull you rode?
Panhandle Slim.
Panhandle Slim. You had all of them bull of the years, and now you got these whoop-alls and riding solos.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Jeremy Walker called it right. I think Whoopall was a souped-up teen bull.
He was
Everybody
just
rode
cool.
him.
He-
Everybody rode
yeah,
him.
everybody.
And he had
One
no
guy
fear
bucked off
factor.
of it. Well,
He
two.
wasn't the big mean.
2 guys.
Then there's really not a whole lot of fear factor with riding solo either. I mean, he's going to leap in there and going to go
Yeah,
one
he's
way
gonna
or
come out like
another.
a bronc, but that's
He's going to, when
And
he
you know
changes
he's
it
not gonna
up, he's
stay.
going to roll his old shoulders
Yeah.
and drop or whatever, but he's not going to have that big jerk down, scary move.
At
You
least
know?
Bruiser had that.
A little bit, yeah. So they don't have the fear factor in there anymore. But is that part of the? Or is that
They're having to
just
dull
we're
them down
getting
for the
away
riders,
from the
maybe?
woke and liberal
Maybe,
side of it?
yeah.
They're wanting to bring in the softer animals.
Rider friendly.
really. Come
Yeah.
on.
I mean,
I think people like seeing a ride, like the fans, but also, I mean, I wouldn't go to NASCAR if I didn't want to see a wreck.
Right.
Exactly.
who wants,
exactly.
who wants to see the 200-mile-an-hour wreck?
Yeah, that's what I
Everybody.
want to see.
Yeah.
You don't go to a
You don't want
UFC
to see
fight.
nobody hurt, but you
Without
want
wanting to
get
see someone
pushed
get
to that
knocked
point.
out.
Yeah, you don't want to go
The
pay
extreme.
UFC fight
Yeah.
and not see nobody get knocked out. Just play around with each
Yeah,
other.
it's like
I
a
mean, I went and watched
disappointment.
an Evander Holyfield fight. I think he fought Michael Moore one time, and they danced around for 4 or 5 rounds, and I was like, "Then
What's the
somebody gonna
point?"
knock somebody out?"
Right.
I mean,
And I don't feel like you see that. Like in the teams, like them guys should be whooping on them bulls.
well, they're picking
Honestly.
them.
And they're
They're
picking
getting
them.
on, and they're just diving around there. They're falling off, and then there's no second effort. And
No.
I got to commend Justin McBride here.
Yeah.
And before we get into that, before we get into Justin McBride, let's take a minute and go thank our sponsors, and let's hear a word from them guys. Hey, for all your logistical needs, give Sutherland Logistics a call. So out of all this, Justin McBride comes through, and I think he's really the only coach that has stepped up this time, or that I've seen, and got in his rider's ass about getting the hell out of there. And because, I mean, like I said, Cade Matson's been in, and that's not one of his riders, but he's been on the chute. He's been on the chute clock how many times? Every single time.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to do about that? And then Justin, you know, he gets in there. He said
He's
"Get
the only
fuck
actual
out of there."
coach.
I mean, he actually dropped the F-bomb on air on
Twice.
CBS twice, telling them to get
And
the
it
hell
wasn't-
out of there.
One of them wasn't just because of that.
Yeah, another one was because the guy kind of pretty much checked out. He tried to backdoor Cool Whip.
Sorry, you can't back.
No, you
backdoor
can't.
that.
Yeah, you don't backdoor Cool Whip.
No.
Just,
But
just ask
hey, I
PRCA
commend
how that
Justin
works.
Justin McBride for jumping in there and getting in them riders' butts.
Yeah, you don't see
I do
nobody,
too.
none of the other
No.
coaches doing that.
They're
No.
just patting them on the back.
No, just pat him on the back. Good job, buddy. Yeah, you
Just
tried real
look
hard.
At,
you
look
know.
at JW and Marcus Mast. He just pats him on the back.
I think they got a bromance.
I think
Something
so too.
like.
I mean, there is something
I
there
mean,
because
there-
Marcus, I don't see him being the anchor, and I don't, you know, he's probably gonna get pissed
What
off
was
at
that?
me. But oh well, spade's a spade. I just don't think he's the anchor of that team. And
No.
I don't
honestly,
think so either.
What's the anchor of that team?
That's a
anyways?
really
there's,
weak
I mean,
anchor.
there's really nobody on there that. I mean, Bob Mitchell, when he comes back, he should be, but I think he's hurt. So, but yeah, and then, I don't see nobody getting in their butts.
No.
Nobody's being an actual coach.
They got to get them. They didn't teach them shoot procedure and teach them how to nod their damn head and get the hell out of there. There's also something funny about this. I hear a lot on the show or on the telecast. You've got 50 seconds. You got 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Is there another
There's got to be
clock?
something to
There's a
that.
set
And then once that gets to, you've only got a certain amount of time to get out of there. Once you crawl over in there, you got a certain amount of time to do all that, and then the shoot clock actually
Mason was
kicks
telling me
off.
one time that it's like that. When you crawl down on the buck and shoot, you only have so much time, and it's up to the judge when you get down to that time to put you on the clock or not.
No, okay, all right.
I can't remember if it was. I think it was Kansas City, but they had like a shoot clock malfunction.
Yeah,
and it wasn't showing up. No one knew, and I want to say they challenged
and that
it,
was with Cade Matson too.
And the judge was just like, "Well, I put you on it, Well, if it's not visible, if it's not showing,
shouldn't have been in there that
we
long
didn't
anyway.
know.
Though.
Well,
and I could see Cord's point of view on that. Hey, we didn't know he was on the clock. He had to go last minute.
Well, the judge always says you're on the clock.
He did, yeah. And I think it was Roy Dole that was sitting there and said, "I said, hey, y'all are on the clock."
It may not show up, but I said you're on the clock.
Yeah.
It should never come down to that point anyway.
No, it shouldn't.
I mean,
You should be able to get in and out of there.
right.
Yeah, I mean, you're professional.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be at the
It's supposed
top
to
of
be the
your
top.
game.
Especially when the
league.
bulls are standing in there, all they're doing is flicking their ears back and forth.
Yeah.
I mean, come
Well,
on, man.
now I'll say this, right? Because I mean, and you guys have rode some, and sometimes you get in there and they can look like they're standing like a show dog, and it feels like they've got a hump in their back or maybe a little twist or a little of that. But what I don't see is guys actually trying to get out of there.
No, they're asking the guys on the back.
They're just
moving them
there.
around or
they're
anything.
just sitting there, and they're not trying to move the bull around, not trying to reposition him. They're just sitting there,
waiting for that bull to move.
it's like a
waiting for
Shetland
that bull
pony
to
is what
move.
they're hoping.
Yeah.
it's
They're
for.
not working to get out of there. They're
No.
just sitting there, and I think that's BS.
And when that bull's doing that, he's getting in his starting blocks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I remember back when I had Moody Blues for the first time. Somebody, and I cannot remember who, told me, they said, get him out of his starting blocks, and you'll leave out of here a lot better with him. Because Moody Blues would get in there, and I mean, he'd just put his old ass up against that back slide and just, I mean, scotch in there. I mean, just bury up like that. And then when you nodded, then he would just launch and leave and just, I mean, like a runner out of his starting block or sprinter. And so when I got ready, I'd slide up there and I'd kind of gig him a little bit or have him rack that slide chute in front of him. And as soon as he stepped up, I nodded.
That's
because as soon as he stepped up, he was out of his blocks and we went.
Yeah.
That's something nobody does. When they get
and
them
I rode
bulls
that bull
up,
7 times out of 8.
yeah, when they get that bull standing
6 out of
up,
8.
they want to fiddle with their shaps. They want to fiddle with their tail. And then by that time, the bull's already back in the starting
Hey,
blocks.
if that bull is moving in there,
You move with him.
that gets you the spot. I mean, you're already. That's like in NASCAR. That's the caution flag. You're out there driving, going around. You're already in the groove, and then the green flag drops. Time to go.
Yeah.
That's what that is in there. When the bull's moving around in there or something, you be moving too. Slide up there, and while he's moving, you're finding your seat, and then once you find it, nod and go, man.
It's simple.
Get out of there.
So going back to the coaches,
Don't
Justin,
even get me started on the coaches in a minute.
with Justin being, pretty hard on his riders and making them get out. What about the other coaches? You like cheerleaders, don't you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we need to get Kobe Yates 2 things. First thing we need to get is a set of pom-poms.
And a seatbelt.
And then the second thing, we need a seat belt. Because I know he used to ride and he made the NFR and stuff, but, I don't know if he can ride that chute up there or not, the way he's jumping around up there. We're going to have to get a seat belt or he's going to fall the hell off.
Yeah.
And, and that brings up my next point is PBR is overselling this whole deal, this over-cheering. That is not bull riding.
No.
They're trying to push it and overhype it. And
You don't see Cody Lambert or Justin McBride doing that.
no, but their guys are.
Yeah.
You go to any rodeo you want to. I don't care where. And
When they're 85 points, no, they do not
got
cheer.
2 or 3 traveling partners and you're behind the chute. They're not back there doing cartwheels for an 84, 85 point bull ride. They're not doing it.
When you get to the back buck chutes, they're just going to give you a high five.
Yeah, it's a good ride, man.
If that.
You're going to get a day money check. How you doing? There you go.
I think maybe like PBR's beating into them riders' heads to do that.
Oh, I think so. I'm almost certain that I heard somewhere. Now, and go ahead and fucking quote me on this. I don't give a shit. I heard it from somebody that Sean Gleason told them to oversell it. Just, do the cheering, get wild, get crazy, act like a team, hoop and holler, and basically, in layman's terms, be a fucking idiot back there.
Yeah.
Act like a damn clown back there and jump up and down and
I get it when it's 90 points, but not 85.
Something else that bothers me, and I'm sure it bothers a lot of other people, and I'm not the only one. But what is this? Woo! This girly ass squall they do. What are we doing?
You never
on earth, and they cheer like a girl.
You never cheered like that?
No.
Oh.
Hell no.
Hey, Silvano Alves came up with that one a long time ago.
Yeah, that woo.
Camera would show him,
and then girl shit. You sound like a 12-year-old girl getting.
Yeah.
Dang. Man, that's one of my pet peeves. And then
my biggest.
The commentators, man.
How many times did they say they like the PBR teams better than the regular season?
Well, that's the problem is they're overselling this thing, man. They're to a point that it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes.
To throw a point in there, and I hate to keep bringing up Marcus Mass, and I feel like we're picking on him. So, Marcus, if you see this, hey, I apologize. You just easy target right now. Sorry. And maybe it's because you're on my jackass brother's team. I don't know. But they pick on him. We're picking on him, but when he was getting, where was it at? It was in Kansas City. It was in Kansas City, and it come down to the extra outs.
Yep.
Matt West gets on there and is going, this is the biggest moment of this guy's life.
He don't need to be on.
This is the biggest moment of this guy's life. Other than him getting married. Other than having kids. What's the next thing? Other than eating fucking lunch today? Holy shit.
They need to get
really? This ride right here is the biggest thing of this guy's life? I don't think so.
No, I don't.
I'm not trying to change the subject or anything, but Matt West needs to go back to being an in-house announcer.
Yeah.
It's
at a lower division.
Yes.
I think they need to quit pulling his chain to overhype the stuff.
Yeah.
This is not, I don't know. Hey guys, if I'm the only one seeing this, y'all out there, we're gonna have some comments out there. Get on Instagram, get on all that stuff, and leave us send us a question, because we'll come back and we'll answer them. And if I'm wrong, hey, I'll come back and I'll apologize.
Yeah,
but I just try to speak the truth.
I think what it's turning into, or what they hope it's turning into, is like NFR or NFL and soccer and everything else, where you're not cheering, you're cheering for your teammates versus just yourself, right? Rodeo's always been me, myself, and I, and the bull.
Yes.
But now with the teams, it's if I don't ride, you gotta ride, or if I don't, all of us have to work together. So the cheering, you take 10 guys, I don't care where they come from, if you put them on a team, they're going to cheer for each other.
Okay.
So a little extra it's kind of, and then, you got the announcers that are doing it. But I think you make a team, they're going to become a team.
Look at it like this, though. They're cheering for an 85-point bull ride. That's like cheering for a first down in NFL.
Yeah.
But sometimes that first down makes that win.
I get that, right? Yes, you need to support your team and cheer a little bit,
but don't do backflips.
But yeah,
don't do
my point is they're overselling it. They're
I agree on that.
To the point that it's completely obvious that's what they're doing, is overselling it, over cheering, overhyping it. The announcers are selling it like, this guy just won $20 million, and
I want to say it was Kansas City, where they were like, well, I think they got a 71 or something like that, and they decided to keep it because it was a ride.
That was Oklahoma.
That was Oklahoma and Cord McCoy.
He decided to keep it because that was a ride versus,
I get it. Yeah.
So
that's
different than UTV.
Decision.
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
So I think coming something new, only 2 years in, I think a lot of old rodeo guys are going to be, your opinion on it, where it's new. And we don't know where it's going to go. It's only been 2 years. They might be adding new teams, and it's going to become, the new football.
Yeah.
And I think there's a potential in it, but you got to look at it on that side and not compare it to the UTV, because it's not. It's more of a show. It's a show for the fans. Oklahoma, Arkansas don't have a football team, so it's Kansas City Chiefs typically, or Dallas, right? Yeah. So it's going to become a huge circle if they do it right. But the overselling, it's a little annoying, especially on the television side of it.
What they're doing, and I agree with what you're saying, absolutely. But they oversell it so much, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I mean, I get mad at it watching the show because I'm like, it's so obvious and blatant, just throw it in your face, and I'm like,
just do what I do. I mute.
Are they desperate? Because that's what it comes across.
I think they are.
That's what it comes across as. Is they're fucking desperate.
I think they got a lot of money.
Fans and
I think they have a lot of money in it. Look at Bass Pro. You're looking at what is it, Bad Boys Mowers. How much money did they throw at that? I think if it doesn't work,
$7 million a team to buy. I think's what.
If it doesn't work,
that's the rumor I get. Don't quote me on that, but you hear a lot of things through the grapevine, and
then Bass Pro now owns Cabela's, so they're a part of it. So how much money's involved between the travel, the expenses, the pay, and the difference is on the better side is the riders are getting paid. They're contracted, win or lose.
So now why couldn't, and I'm kind of going down Avenue B here on this. Why, when the riders get on the clock, can the team?
Yeah, they can
find them riders for being on the clock. Give them.
Yeah, but they should.
Pay consequences.
Because there's so many doing it.
Or maybe
long as they come out of that chute within that time, who cares?
Because I can guarantee you, if I was a coach, which PBR will never ever put me as a coach, because I am their black fucking sheep, and probably because of this show.
Silvano run the clock every time, and he's.
I would be if I was a coach, and I catch them guys looking off. You look off once, twice. You're off the fucking team, or you're fined, or something. You don't get a team check.
You're on the bench.
I mean, there is going to be consequences.
We don't have enough bench warmers yet.
You take too long in the chute, or you look off. I don't want you, man. You're out.
Well,
done. And get the hell out of here. I may be entering a team with 3 fucking riders because I don't have enough. There's not enough riders out there that's got the balls to try one now.
We don't have enough riders yet.
I know.
It's not like a football team where we got a whole, second strand.
What are they going to do when they come out with so far what we've heard through our sources is that there's going to be another 2 teams come out pretty quick. What are they going? There ain't enough riders for 8 teams, much less 10 teams.
You got the backup. They can start fishing from them.
I think there's enough for the 10 teams.
Well, heck, what are we going to have to do? We're going to have to water down the bulls even more. We're going to keep digging down.
I'm thinking we're going to have to
deeper
down even more.
It's going to become a show more than power.
I think they're going to get a bunch of PRCA guys to come over, and then when they do come out with these 2 new teams, they're going to have a bunch of new guys. There's going to be a crop of new guys come in.
I don't know if you'll get the PRCA guys.
They're going to be rookies, right? But
you're hitting that's in the summer run, and them guys.
Yeah, Cheyenne was in July, right in the 4th of July run.
Them guys are trying to make the NFR.
Look at Sage and Josh. Josh is, I think, 3rd in the world, and Sage is 4th.
Right.
So it's still doable, and
they're a little different breed though, too. Them guys.
But them's the type of guys that's got their qualifications up. That
the guys that you're going to be picking
that can go to 40 rodeos and make the NFR.
Yeah.
Whereas these young guys that you're talking about, they've got to go to them events to get their qualifications up to go
like
to
the
them.
Roscoe Jarbos and people like that. That's who I'm talking about. They already got the qualifications up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this kind of going off of a trail, but me and Briar brought this up.
We love rabbit holes and trails.
How can you be a coach and a stock contractor?
That's cheating.
And Briar brought that point up, and
I don't like that at all. You had your pet peeve on the cheerleading. That's my biggest pet peeve.
Well, I've got lots of pet peeves, and that's one of them too.
So White Rogers drew one of JW's bulls.
Yeah, breadbasket.
Yeah, breadbasket.
Breadbasket.
You can't
Yeah.
tell me he was not practicing on that
Well,
bull
yeah, he was.
during the week.
No, he
I mean,
was.
he still fell off.
He
still fell off.
He never
but-
practiced on him.
Okay,
He
come
never-
on. Blake.
Yeah,
Come on.
because that-
Sorry,
because that
the
would
bull
be-
is standing right
because
behind
that would be
JW's
a
practice
fine.
pen.
Because
That would be a fine.
That
Yeah,
should
that
be
would
a fine, yes.
and suspension or something.
Yes.
Who's
So,
monitoring
you know,
that? That's
I don't
I
know.
think
who the
it
hell
should be
knows?
watched.
I think it's
But
honor
the
code,
point-
but I hate to tell you, boys.
The point
but
of it,
Coaches should not have bulls in
there's
the team.
not a whole lot of
Exactly.
honor
It's
in that
cheating.
direction.
it needs to come down to you either be a coach or a stock contractor. If
Yes.
you pick coach, you do not take any bulls during any team season. You do not pawn them off to JD
Yeah,
Nix or anyone
No,
like that.
you leave 'em
can't
at home.
run 'em
Leave
under
'em at
no
home.
Hey, leave JD Nix alone.
well, almost
I'm not
every
picking
coach
on
has,
JD.
has stock.
He was the only one come to mind.
What are they going to do? Just not make money off their stock? Like, there needs to be somebody that monitors
They
it.
cannot. You cannot be a coach and take bulls at the same
Because
time
the
because
first
that's like
year-
in football. A coach
referee.
being a referee too. He's coaching and refereeing. That's a conflict of interest
Because-
there. I don't give a shit what they say or how they sugarcoat it. So, and there's 3 of them out there right now. There's JW, Cord McCoy, and Jerome Davis.
Yep.
And you got to choose, man. That's all there is to it. There's no two ways about it. You cannot do that. Last year they tried it to where
They could send their
they
bulls
pawned
off
the
to
bulls
somebody.
off on put them under somebody else's name. But oh my gosh, if you're a true fan of the sport,
You're gonna know.
everybody knows who the fuck
Yeah,
I'm
who
legit
that bull
too
belongs
owns.
to.
Yeah.
belongs
Oh,
to,
and
you know?
breadbasket.
Yeah, or breadbasket, or even some Jerome Davis bulls, or riding solo, or them guys. They know who owns them.
Yeah.
you know, and it's silly. It's. I don't know if that's the shady part of the PBR because who's going to coach the next 2 teams? I mean,
Yeah.
PBR is going to have to do
who's-
something they hate, and that is widen their little tight knit circle
Yeah.
up there, circle of jerk off buddies up there,
Yeah.
and widen that circle so they can get more coaches.
And you can't tell me there's
And-
not
and-
pro rodeo stock contractors that don't want to come in and stock and
Yeah.
pawn them bulls off, or not pawn them off, but bring bulls.
Right.
yeah,
You can't tell me they're not wanting to do that.
No.
they
There's
may
plenty.
not want into politics of the damn PBR.
There's plenty of bulls out there and contractors that's going to PBR that they could do it. That's not an issue. That
I agree.
That's
I think
not an
they should
issue.
definitely have to choose which way
Yes,
to go.
they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if they do have, if the coaches are stock contractors and one of their riders are getting on that bull of theirs, they're not. I mean, really, they're going to get on them in the practice pen. That's cheating.
Well, I know. That's what we were just
'Cause
talking
the
about.
draw
a while
comes
ago.
out.
Yeah,
How-
it's
doesn't the draw
there's
come out?
Now they do have a rule out against that. You cannot practice on that bull because the
Really?
draw comes
Come
out
on.
so far
Come
early.
on. I mean,
Oh, I know.
really?
We just talked about it. I agree. I mean, really. That and Nathan asked, how is there somebody to watch it? And I said, I think it's like golf. It's the honor code.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't think there's any honor that direction.
No, there's no.
You know,
No, not
I
in
mean,
that circle.
there's too much. There's. It's like it would be like when you boys, Briar and Blaine, when y'all was 5 years old, and I had a bowl of candy on the counter that y'all could reach and see, and me tell y'all don't get into that until later, and I walk outside.
Yeah.
I can tell you we had handfuls.
I guarantee you, y'all was getting into
And
it.
it's the same- and that's
so
the
you
same-
can't tell me that does not go on.
Well,
and
when
I'm
does
not
the draw
calling
come
them
out?
and saying they did
I
that.
think it comes out like a week before the event.
See, if they're going to, I mean, if no one's going to monitor it, the worst case, they could do the draw like a day or 2 prior to the event.
I say you do it at the event. You walk out of the arena and the coaches draw.
Which pen of bulls?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think they do need to be more.
I mean, you
Transparent
still got to
on all that.
transport the
They do,
bulls.
yeah.
So
But let's
somebody
all-
has to
let's
know
all
what
agree
bulls are going to
here
go to
that the
California.
PBR is-
Right.
You know, so somebody
they're
has
not
to know
gonna
what
do
bulls are going to
that.
California or New York. So somebody's going to have a leadway on that. But to the coaches and to the team, which once again to the honor side, they could know a day or 2 prior, but that information would get leaked. I guarantee it.
Well, I think they need to do it at the arena.
Yeah.
I mean, once they
Yeah.
show up, that
Pin-
they
you
they
draw
get the
out of a
pen
hat,
bulls and
pin
then-
Yes, I was
yeah.
just about to say that.
Yeah.
You draw out of a hat.
Yeah, and
You
they
got
could do it
pin
like
one,
they do the
pin two.
draft, man. But they just walk instead of going up there and picking which set of bulls you want. You walk up there and pull a number
pull it.
out of a hat, and that's
Yep.
that's your pen of bulls, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
And
there's
one.
no.
That is
There's no
let's
cheating
all
or
agree.
anything
No.
out of that.
Let's all agree here. PBR is not about transparency.
No.
We're not going to do
They
that.
like that's why one reason why this show's out here Beyond the Buckles is because we want to shed some light on some of the shady shit that they do, and call them out on some of the stuff, and praise them where praise is needed.
Yeah.
But let's take another break real quick. Thank some of our great sponsors. This episode of Beyond the Buckles is brought to you by our friends at Lorick Ranch Home Furnishings, Young Cattle Company, Sutherland Logistics, Off Our Rocker, Sunnyside Graphic Design, Cactus Rodeo, Print and Stitch Company, DEL Cattle Company, and Blake Skaggs Bucking Bulls. All right, guys. So we've kind of hit on the PBR. We've kind of hit maybe a little below the belt here a little bit, and
Someone
and
needs
poked
to.
at
Yeah.
we poked at poor old Marcus Mass a little bit,
Yeah.
quite a bit on this episode. But let's what's the good side of the PBR? Let's do it. Let's do this little wrap around here.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a wrap around. And let's kind of recap y'all's thoughts on the season so far. We've had 3 events so far. By the time this comes out, we'll be headed to the 4th. So
Yeah.
let's start with you, Briar. What's your thoughts on it so far? And we'll just continue the wrap around.
I think it's good that, there's some changes needs to be made, of course, but other than that, the Bulls are better. That's one positive thing they've done. The Bulls are better. They're getting better. I think the thing that really helped that is they took the bonus round out of that, and that took the top Bulls in the world, and they can just mix match them and move them around like Cool Whip. He's in a regular game now instead of saving them for the bonus round.
Yeah.
I think that's helped a lot.
Yeah. They put easier to ride bulls in that extra outs or extra whatever they call it at the end if they tie.
Yeah. That's one positive thing, and another one is that they're trying I'm at loss for words right now.
Sure you are.
That's the first time.
Sure, yeah.
Carolina, I think Carolina's doing a great job.
I honestly think Carolina's a team to beat right now because they've
I
got more
think
go
they've-
buckles over there, but the
I think they
cards
fell
just
on
haven't fell the right
I think
way
they're
for
falling on a
them.
rough patch right now.
And I'm sorry I said we was going to be nice from here on, but I can't. But I feel like
Wow.
that some of the bulls and stuff seems like they get the better set of bulls.
Well,
Or the juicier set of
it's
bulls
funny
because
how-
they're the better team.
it's funny how Austin and Carolina are always up against each
Yeah,
other.
they're always head to
in the
head.
first game. They're always going up against each other.
Well, I think they drew before the season. I think it's, I don't know. But anyway, I don't know how they draw or do the matchups.
I'm gonna
but
say
I
one-
like that. And that was a good matchup in Anaheim. That sold the show. But
That was
Austin Richardson. Let's
Yeah,
give
he
him.
made a good ride.
He
That
rode
was
one
bull ride.
won both ways.
Yeah.
He's the only one I think in Anaheim that got on a bull
And
that went
rode him
away
away
from.
from
I
the
think he
hand.
might have been one or two of the guys that actually got on one that went away from his hand
And didn't look out.
and was
Yeah,
the
and
only
kept his
one to
head
make
down.
the damn whistle.
Yeah.
So way to go, Austin Richardson. Austin Gamblers,
handle the
keep
pressure,
it
too.
up. I like it. Nathan, what do you got? What do you think's good shit?
I think it's going pretty good. I think Kansas City did what the goal was, right? Win at home. I think that's where the PBR is wanting it to go to. So accomplishing that for the first time since the team series, I think that was a good start to it.
Did they oversell it? Because
Oh,
when they
God,
picked
yeah.
up and carried Marcus Mass
Thank
off
you.
the arena,
That
it was like
that's a Rudy.
But did
this
you-
ain't
Yeah,
like
that's
a
a
Rudy
Rudy.
here.
But did
They
you see
just
the
win
crowd?
Super Bowl.
Did you see the
or,
crowd?
The
The crowd
come
was into
on.
it.
Yeah.
And they're selling a show.
yeah, but of course, them guys, they don't know shit from Shiloh.
But look at it like
up
this,
there,
too.
they're just buying a ticket.
Nathan-
and I get it. I get that.
Nathan's looking at it from a marketing point.
Yeah,
We're
right.
looking at it from a rider's point.
I think
Yeah.
UTB is the riders. I think the new side of this, of teams, is the fans. There's people that have PBR tattoos on them.
I know.
There are some
Cody's
diehard.
got one. Don't let him lie to you.
Those are diehard.
Diehard. It's like
gosh.
NASCAR, right? So they're more or less trying to sell. With COVID the way it was, I think it was a perfect opportunity. The borders were closed, so the PBR, what was it, World Cup or World something?
Global Cup.
Global
Yeah,
Cup.
global.
Well, was closed down. I think this was a new opportunity, and I think their goals are working. I think the crowd and the spectators are eating it up. I think it's
I think
it's
something they
pushed
needed.
Yeah, I
way
think
too hard. I think instead of just letting it happen, I think they're just hitting that mic and they're just like, oh, this is the greatest thing. And it's like, okay, could step it down. Like,
Yeah.
Then that's going to push people away.
I mean, it
Too much
puts a bad taste in my
overselling.
mouth.
yeah.
All right, Blaine Robert, tell me your side.
Lost for words.
Well, I tell you what, that was a mouthful, wasn't it?
Wow.
Holy heck.
Don't
You
give us
spit
too
that
much
one out.
Stuff there,
Don't
Bubba.
give us too much information.
Probably about the same shit. That's
Yeah,
been,
about-
I mean,
yeah,
we're all
I mean-
going to kind of hit on the same stuff,
Yeah.
really.
All right, We're all you. hitting on the same thing.
Oh, we got to go Blake. We can't
No,
skip
no.
Blake.
Yeah, the all-star, me.
When you pass the torch, it goes
All-star.
around.
Come on, hurry up.
Yeah.
Come on.
All-star.
You're just
Big
easier.
sexy,
You're just
come on
easier
with
to
it.
see, Blake. Come on, Blake.
I like it, but I also don't like which is kind of off topic, but having the UTB like that condensed. I would rather see littler parts of the team, like not so much of the year as a team. Like, yeah, cut it back a little bit, but it just don't seem the same having the World Finals in May. That just gives me a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't know. I feel like the team should be. They just went all out. I mean, it's like half the year. Break it down smaller and give them guys some break, and then let the UTB run for more.
Here's my thoughts on it, because I've put a lot of thought into trying to figure this out of when or how they could do this and get away from the condensed season.
Right, like we was talking about the other day.
Why don't they run it together? The team season and the UTB season
like
together.
UTB,
and you do. There's 4 weeks in a month. You do 2 UTB events and then 1 team event, and then you're off a week. And then you come back the next month and you do 2.
Same thing.
2 and 1. You know, like that. Keep it going like that, and that way there is a break in there, and then them guys can heal up and whatever, and that'll help. Not only will that help the teams, but it'll damn sure help the World Finals.
Right.
Whereas this year, the
number 10 guy don't win a world.
There was
Everybody's
5.
hurt.
You know, there was 5 out of the top 20 guys that wasn't even at the finals.
Yep. That's the thing. I think they need to move the UTB World Finals back to November.
Well, if they
or end of October.
Yeah.
Like go back to tradition.
If they do it like he's saying, they can.
Right.
And it actually makes really good sense because
Yes,
they
it
already
does.
do that for UTB events in 1 month. They do 4 of them. I think he's got
And then I kind of like.
point.
Yeah, you got a good point, Blake. I mean,
idea of
I
on
rarely
the-
get good points, man. Thank you.
on even it's at Vegas is a team finals, so I kind of like to do like if in MLB or baseball is you go the teams that's in first and second place go back to their home and have and go to and play in
the
their
World Finals back to Vegas where
and
it
move the
belongs.
World Finals back to Las
Absolutely.
Vegas.
I like that idea.
That's where it belongs.
Where the team finals kind of moves around a little bit.
Right.
Or do it like the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
where,
that
where
wouldn't be
they
a
go
bad
to
idea.
a different, the one time they have it in Kansas City, one time they have it in Oklahoma City.
Change every year.
Yep.
Go to a
change
different
every
home
year.
every
Yeah.
year.
They don't
A
have it.
different team.
They don't
But
have
I
it.
think they
Oklahoma
got some
City.
kind of deal.
I think that's a good
They got
idea.
some kind of deal with Vegas, so they've got to stay in Vegas or
I just would rather see the World Finals go back to there.
oh, yeah,
and then
absolutely.
rotate the team finals from
I
all
like
the teams.
that idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
That is a pretty good idea.
Yeah. Pay attention, PBR, because we've got great ideas.
They're not going to.
Because
They
it'd be like
don't
this-
like us, so hey, we understand. But if y'all do this, we're going to take credit for it.
we did that.
Now, what are your
So what do you got,
thoughts?
Cowboy?
My thoughts, y'all hit on a lot of them. I've kind of filled in when you was talking. I covered the little stuff, talk with everybody, and kind of give my thoughts. I just kind of mixed mine in with yours. I think the Bulls have been a big deal. I think they've come around. They've gotten better. I would like to see the draw more transparent. I'd like to see guys not looking out, basically not
That'd
being a
be
pussy.
nice.
Yeah.
Man up. This is a man's sport. If you're, man up.
You're supposed
Be a
to be
cowboy.
cowboy.
Get your ass in there and get out of the chute. I love Justin McBride getting in their butts about getting out of there. I think that has been a long time coming, and I think that we need to see more of that on TV.
Yeah.
But instead of the overselling, the cheerleading,
Yes.
the pom-pom carrying,
Tired of that.
damn
Instead of
gets
when Ezekiel
all
was
the coaches back there, get the coaches in there getting on their ass, actually doing some damn coaching.
Because
And
even
instead of-
a football coach is like, when it's time to be defense,
He chews
that
on 'em.
defense coach is like, hold that, and
Instead of when-
it's like, good job.
and so-
I guarantee you they need to be. There's a couple of them guys that looked off you know, and Luke Matson, he shouldn't have an ass.
No,
his ass should. I mean,
Yeah,
who's
it
he
should be
on
gone.
Thunder?
Luke Madsen. No, he's on Missouri, I think. There's Briggs and Luke, I think.
Missouri Thunder.
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. One of them. Whoever the coach is should have chewed his ass. He shouldn't be able to sit down for a week.
Yeah.
I mean, he really should.
Same for Ezekiel Mitchell
Yeah.
when he sits up there and tries being fancy and waving to
just
the crowd.
fighting
well,
for what he is. Come
yeah, he
on.
tries to ham bone a lot. But so anyway, I think this has been a great episode. And guys, this is going to be a pretty regular deal with the teams deal. We're going to come in and we're going to have a chit chat about all of it. But and like always, go like us on Facebook. Go like us on Instagram. We're on, YouTube, Spotify, you name it, Apple, all of them. Man, get us out there. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Subscribe to us. And start leaving us some comments on there, man. Get it so we can get back to some of the questions, some of you fans and things that y'all want to hear about. And we love feedback. So by all means, keep your rosin hot and we'll see you next time.